What's happening, guys? Based from the test results of the last episode, wall and lift in upskirt mode were crowned as the best disc for bearing in opposite and same spin respectively. By the way, this is why 0-0 wasn't used for Lord Spriggan. As you can see, 0-0 doesn't grip Lord's burst resistors, resulting to just regular clicks. By using 0, it provides resistance to its burst resistors, hence making it significantly harder for clicks and thus making it very hard to burst. Today, Papabey will answer your burning question if these two contenders, Turn and Ratchet, have what it takes to hang with the top dogs in this exciting episode of In terms of width or diameter, here's Ratchet versus Wall. Here's Ratchet versus Lift in downskirt mode. Here's Ratchet versus Vanguard. Here's Turn versus Wall. Here's Turn versus Lift in downskirt mode. Here's Turn versus Vanguard. Here's Ratchet versus Turn. Based on these results, Wall, Vanguard, Ratchet, and Turn have more or less the same width. Lift, on the other hand, is slightly narrower than the 4. In terms of height, here's Ratchet versus Wall. Here's Ratchet versus Lift in downskirt mode. Here's Ratchet versus Vanguard. Here's Turn versus Wall. Here's Turn versus Lift in downskirt mode. Here's Turn versus Vanguard. Here's Turn versus Ratchet. Based on these results, Wall, Lift, Vanguard, and Turn have more or less the same height. Ratchet, on the other hand, has a slightly shorter height. In terms of outward weight distribution, Turn, as with Wall and Lift, relies on the 0 disc, so that means all three have the same. Ratchet's built-in disc has more or less the same with a 0 disc too. Vanguard, with its 6 sides infused with metal, still has the most. In terms of shape design, Turn is basically the same with Wall and Vanguard. Lift in upskirt mode will minimize scraping on the stadium floor as proven by its number 1 ranking in same spin. Will Ratchet's shorter height be much better than Lift's scrape-saving design in same spin? We'll find out soon. To view the full 10-round battles, please go to the topmost pinned comment in the comments section. For opposite spin, Ratchet sits higher than the other contestants or has a higher center of gravity, which is a disadvantage in this situation. It lost to Wall, but that was expected. It clearly lost to Vanguard. It tied with Lift in downskirt mode. Perhaps this is because Lift's narrower width offset its lower center of gravity. It narrowly lost to Turn as well. Overall, it had a slightly below average performance. Turn, having the same center of gravity, its performance was more or less on par with the others. It clearly lost to Wall as expected. It narrowly beat Vanguard, which was a surprise. It was tied with Lift in downskirt mode and narrowly beat Ratchet. Overall, it had an average performance. Ratchet slots below Wall because it lost to it. Ratchet slots below Vanguard because it clearly lost to it. Ratchet slots below Lift in downskirt mode because Lift in downskirt mode's win over Vanguard holds more weight than both their losses to Wall, wherein Ratchet lost less than Lift in downskirt mode. At the end of the day, it's still a loss to Wall. Because there were no tests done against Lift in upskirt mode and Paradox, we'll use Ratchet and Lift in upskirt mode's performance against Wall. In this case, Ratchet had less losses to Wall compared to Lift in upskirt mode. Against Vanguard, Ratchet had more losses than Lift in upskirt mode. Because there was no test done between Lift in downskirt mode versus Lift in upskirt mode, there's no more data for comparison at this point. Therefore, the victory will be awarded to Ratchet as its quote-unquote win over Lift in upskirt mode in both losses against Wall will now be the basis. Hence, it will take 4th place, usurping Lift in upskirt mode spot. Turn still slots below Vanguard because Turn's narrow win over Vanguard is less than Vanguard's narrow win over Wall, and Wall clearly beating Turn. Turn slots below Lift in downskirt mode even if they are tied against each other. This is because in both their losses to Wall, Turn lost more than Lift in downskirt mode. In their matches against Vanguard, both had the same record in beating it, so it doesn't count. Turn slots above Lift in upskirt mode even if in their match with Wall, Lift in upskirt mode had the better record wherein it even won 3 rounds to boot. This is because Turn's win over Vanguard holds more weight than this as it's still a losing record to Wall. Turn also narrowly beat Ratchet. However, against Wall, Ratchet had the better losing record compared to Turn, wherein it garnered 2 wins compared to none for Turn. Using their matches with Vanguard as the tiebreaker, Turn narrowly beat it compared to Ratchet clearly losing to it. Therefore, Turn takes the 4th spot, usurping Ratchet, which goes down to 5th place. For same spin, Ratchet's shorter height is an advantage in this scenario. As a result, it demolished Wall and Vanguard. Based on these tests, Wall loses to everyone not named Paradox in same spin, but that is more of the fact that Paradox is so wide you could land a seaplane on it. It got embarrassed by Lift in upskirt mode, but that is to be expected. Its narrow loss to turn was a surprise, so perhaps turn is its direct counter or it just got lucky. Overall, it had an outstanding performance by beating Vanguard. Turn, having more or less the same height as the rest, was on an even playing field. As a result, it just narrowly beat Wall and Ratchet. It lost to Lift in upskirt mode, but that isn't news. Its clear loss to Vanguard is less of a surprise, as Vanguard has pretty good same spin chops, as it was able to beat everyone save for Lift in upskirt mode and Ratchet. Overall, it had a slightly below average performance. Ratchet slots below Lift in upskirt mode like everyone else. However, Ratchet slots above Vanguard because it convincingly beat it. In addition, it had a greater win rate compared to Turn against Wall. Ratchet also sits above Turn even if it lost to it because its victories, like beating Vanguard, holds more weight. Therefore, it takes second place, usurping Vanguard's spot. Turn slots below Lift in upskirt mode like everyone else. Turn slots below Vanguard because it clearly lost to it. Turn slots above Wall because it beat it. Because there were no tests done against Lift in downskirt mode, we'll use Turn and Lift in downskirt mode's performance against Vanguard. In this case, Turn lost more compared to Lift in downskirt mode, therefore, Turn takes the 5th spot. Turn didn't do much to shake the rankings as it was just pedestrian in both spin directions. Ratchet, on the other hand, did, and it did it very well by taking second place away from Vanguard in same spin. However, I'd still pick Vanguard over it in tournaments that doesn't allow mode or spin direction changes. This is because, like Lift in downskirt mode, its opposite spin performance leaves a lot less to be desired. At the end of the day, Vanguard still has the better overall performance in both spin directions. So there you have it, guys. That's a wrap for now. I'll be seeing you again in the next episode. Same Papabey time, same Papabey channel.